welcome back to another AEW review. It's the anniversary, way up the boys. Last night was the anniversary show. A year of All Elite Wrestling, even though it's not really. Last week was meant to be the anniversary show, and Lance Archer had COVID. So they pushed it back, but it was the 52nd episode because they took Christmas off. So, swings and roundabouts, I guess. The big hook for last night's show was that every single title was going to be defended. And the big talking point before the show is that Lance Archer got Monty Brown to come out of hiding to cut a promo on Twitter about how he's going to win. Monty Brown, if you see this video, please come back. Please, just one match. One. Think how many silk shirts you could buy. How many Gucci shirts you could buy on that TNT money. Bro, just come back. Quit playing. Unfortunately, we're not here to talk about Monty Brown and how much I love him, even though I could sit here for an hour and talk about Monty Brown. We're here to talk about AEW Dynamite. And the show last night opened with the Best Friends and FTR in the ring already. And they're about to go at it for the tag titles. And the match opened fast. The Best Friends did get the upper hand early on, but as Chuck, I believe, went for a suplex near the ropes, Tully tripped him, as he's known to do, for a near fall. And FTR sort of took the upper hand for a bit. Some more back and forth. Best Friends got in. Once again, became really fast. The typical bit of every AEW match where the ref's just like, they'll work it out. They'll work out who goes out the ring eventually. And then Dax got hit with Storm Zero off of Best Friends. And Cash made the save very, very, very close. Perfectly timed save. Then, after that, Trent and Dax spilled to the outside, went into the crowd, where Kip Sabian was playing an arcade cabinet, a customised, spray-painted arcade cabinet with Penelope Ford, and Trent went to spear Cash through it, and Cash moved, and he just went all the way through the arcade cabinet. We found out later his name is Alan. He took out Alan the arcade. At this point, Kip turned to Penelope and said, "Go get him. Fetch him." And she sprinted to the backstage area as Trent was brought back to the ring. Soon enough after that, then, with some more distractions, Chuck got hit right in the head with the tag title and pinned by Dax for the win. And FTR are still the AEW Tag Team Champions. And then after that, Miro came out and he fucking killed them. He just ran through them like a big Bulgarian lorry. And then after the break, Miro, Kip and Penelope were in the ring with Lee Johnson and Sean Maluta, who is the guy, if you don't know, wrestled Kota Ibushi in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic back in 2016. And he went to a flip dive to the outside and he kind of undershot it and landed on the apron, like flipped over the ropes, landed on the apron, sort of lost his balance, and then just rolled through onto Ibushi on the outside. And it's great. It's my favourite dive in the history of professional wrestling. But unfortunately, Sean Maluta did not get to do that much this match, as him and Lee Johnson were murdered by Miro and Kip. And then Kip locked in the game over. Miro locked in the game over. Kind of missed it, pulled up and went over like Lee Johnson's forehead. I think it was Lee Johnson. And then just locked it back in and won with the game over. And then he got on the mic and he said, "Good friends, you break my shit." The Good Friends broke his shit and he's not happy. Cut an amazing promo about Alan the arcade cabinet. Really funny. Purposefully calling them the Good Friends, by the way. I'm not making fun of a man who English is not his first language and speaks it better than me. He purposefully said everything he did. And it looks like that is now the Best Friends' next feud. And Miro and Kip's first feud. Miro's first feud in All Elite Wrestling. I'm very excited to see where this goes, because Miro is the best. Miro number one. I just realised it was Lana's chant, not Rusev. It was Lana is the best, Lana number one. But Miro is the best, Miro number one. The camera then cut backstage and Lance Archer was just throwing Jon Moxley about a hallway. Just leathering him. Absolutely smashing fuck at him. As Jake the Snake watched from the distance, holding a snakeskin vest, having a chuckle. And I noticed very early on that they wanted very hard to keep the eyes on the TV everything that was happening in between matches meant something, like Miro jumping the best friends, and now this, I was like, you know, even though AEW is the superior show in my mind, they knew, well, they wanted to make sure that there was no changeover. No, oh, the adverts are on. They were like, no, we need to keep your eyes on TNT. And I appreciate that. This show didn't have a lot going. I mean, I think it only had the 4 title matches and Miro and Kip. But all the connective tissue, all the adjoining segments were incredible. So yeah, Archer just threw Mox around like an old pair of socks in the backstage area. That was fun. It was good fun. And then after that, we finally got the brackets for the World Title Tournament. We have, on one side of the bracket, let me read, we have Pentagon wrestling Phoenix and Joey Janela wrestling Kenny Omega. And on the other side, Colt Cabana is wrestling Hangman Page and Jungle Boy is wrestling Wardlow. And I would like to preemptively send my sympathies to Luchasaurus, because his wee pal's going to get... I think he's going to win the match. I do think he's going to win. I don't think he's going to win convincingly, but I think he is going to get the win. But Wardlow's going to throw him about. The big news as well was that this tournament starts next week. So that'll be fun, building to Full Gear, which is in like 3 weeks. So it will need to start next week, because Full Gear's on the 7th of November. Yeah, 7th of November. So that is going to be... yeah, this tournament's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. MJF's huge announcement was next as he walked to the ring with Wardlow and the Inner Circle came out. And Sammy was holding his jacket. He finally got his jacket. But it was like a 5XL. It was huge on him. It was like he was standing in the ring with his sleeves like that. This was great fun. Obviously the Sammy's jacket thing's been going on for like, I think 2 weeks now. And MJF has been playing it up on Twitter nearly every single day. And he finally got his jacket. And it looks great. He looks great. But MJF and Chris had a promo. Now, this wasn't the best promo face-to-face they've had, but it was still a lot of fun. And they pretty much said, look, do you ever watch Shark Week? Or do you ever watch the Nature Channel? The predators never go after each other. And there's like 2 lions don't hunt other lions. Lions hunt in a pack. And then they both started smiling. And Chris was like, Max, I think I know what you're going to ask me. Max was like, no, I think I know what you want to ask me. And they're being stubborn. And Max says, hypothetically, what would you say if maybe possibly, just for the crack, for argument's sake, if I did ask to join the Inner Circle, how would you feel? And then Chris was like, oh, so you're joining the Inner Circle? And he's like, no, I just said maybe. And then Chris is like, so what would you say if, like, potentially down the line I asked you to join the Inner Circle? And Mike's like, oh, so you're asking me to join the Inner Circle? And then at this point the tensions get higher and they get right in each other's face. And it looks like Mike's invited him to a steak dinner next week. But they did it in the way that they've set up the main event of, like, WrestleMania. Right in each other's faces, and we're like, I'll see you next week for a steak dinner then. And I imagine they will talk about the terms of entry for Max to possibly join the Inner Circle over the steak dinner. And I'm very excited for wherever that goes. It's going to be a lot of fun, because they are both a lot of fun. After the steak dinner invitation, we had Britt Baker in a spa being interviewed by Tony Schiavone. She's got the cucumbers on her eyes, and camera pans out and Tony's there, shirtless, getting a massage. And he's holding the mic. And then Britt and Reba freak out because they think he's naked. And then Britt says something about being the baddest bitch on the block, but I didn't really. It was all about how she is going to reclaim her spot at the top of the division and win the title. But it was all about Tony Schiavone. First he was naked, and then he was getting his chest waxed. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they never told him that. He just went there to interview her, and then he just, bang, you're getting your chest waxed. He's a professional. I love Tony. He's there. He shows up every week. He's the butt of all the jokes. He just gets abused all the time, and he's the best. He makes these shows so much more enjoyable. This was incredible. So as the nail polish was drying on Tony's manicure, or pedicure rather, or he was getting one of them, whilst Tony was recovering from his spa treatments, either way, We had the TNT Championship match between Cody and Orange Cassidy. And as Cody was making his entrance, you saw Darby Allin up in the stands, up in the cheap seats, up in the sting seats. Like, bro, you work at the company. You can sit on the stage. It's fine. But he was up in the sting seats, being all broody and watching the match. And it was announced halfway through that Darby Allin will challenge for the TNT Championship at Full Gear. And this match, actually, plus we'll give away the spoiler of the match, was AEW's 6th non-finish ever. 6th. 2 have happened on Dark. One was a double count out with Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler. And the other one I don't remember. No, 7th maybe. I don't know. Because Jungle Boy and Jericho went to the time limit draw. Pac got himself disqualified in the Iron Man. So it doesn't even fully count, but it's still a screwy fall. The only disqualification in the history of AEW. Tony didn't want it to be a DQ, but Jericho convinced him to show that people can be DQ'd in AEW, just the refs will let you away with a lot more. There's a little bit of trivia if you didn't know that. Then Cody and Darby went to the time limit draw. Moxley and Pac went to the time limit draw. And then last night, Cody and Orange Cassidy went to a time limit draw. But wasn't any old time limit draw. It was much like the Tanahashi High Fly Flow 1-2 Ring the Bell. He got Cody after a very, very good match. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I could break it down spot for spot. But the one thing that matters is the finish. They both tried their hardest to put each other away. Orange Cassidy was incredible, once again showing that he is one of the best in the world, but he'd rather put his hands in his pockets and pretend to kick you in the shins. He got him rolled up in the mousetrap cradle, I think it's called. The only thing that took the immersion out of this for me was Justin Roberts on the outside counting down from 10, because when he rolled him up and he got him down, there was only like 2 seconds left. So we knew it was going to happen. If Justin Roberts had went 10 seconds remaining and they sort of brawled, and then he rolls him up, 1, 2, and then the bell rings from the outside. But Justin Roberts was on the outside counting down from 10, so it was like 2 seconds as he began to roll him through. So, you know, and then it was like 1, 2, and then obviously the 2 hit on the 0 of Justin's timer, pretty much. This did take the immersion out of it for me. But still a fantastic finish. And then when I remembered that Darby Allin is up in those stands, and me and Emmett were saying last night, we don't think there has ever been a triple threat in All Elite Wrestling. We think that this may lead to the triple threat at Full Gear. But then it was announced that in 2 weeks they're having a rematch. Another time limit draw, a double count out. I want to see the triple threat with Darby Allin, I really do. But this match was great. It was a very, very good match. And after that, then I'm pretty sure, if we look at my notes, I was wrong. Alex Marvez is backstage interviewing Lance Archer, and he's like, do you think this match is going to go on after you assaulted Jon Moxley? But then before he could answer, Moxley came back and just beat him up. And then now Moxley's got his one-up on Archer, making up for when he got flung about the corridor earlier on. I'm going to preface this bit by saying I love Matt Hardy. I think he's one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, one of the most underutilised talents ever. And it's a shame that when he finally found his mark with the Broken Stuff, he was in a company that wasn't really entirely... I don't know, when he wanted to leave and take the thing that he put himself and the company back on the map, they made it so hard for him to do it because they claimed it was their IP and stuff like that. So Matt Hardy is one of my favourites of all time. I think Sammy Guevara is one of the leading lights in professional wrestling industry, and will be one of the biggest stars of the next 5 years. And I think they have incredible chemistry in the ring, but they are so cursed as a pairing. Just so incredibly cursed. They have no luck. The injuries, the suspension, the concussion, the chair, the fall, the everything. But Matt Hardy was at ringside with his family, and he said, I've been cleared to wrestle, I'm coming back. And then I was being interviewed by Tony, and his nice, smooth chest. He was in a suit. But as Matt Hardy said, I'm cleared to wrestle. They look up at the Titantron, and there's a weird spooky man in a black hoodie lighting fire to photos of Matt Hardy. And I'm like, oh, who could this be? Who could it be? And I genuinely I had no clue. Because I assumed the Sammy stuff was done. I just assumed we're going to put a lid on it and go, look, we tried. We tried our best. We gave it a million chances. But it was Sammy. He pulled his hood down. He did say, it was me, Hardy. It was me all along. And I chuckled. I did have a wee chuckle at that. But it looks like they're going to run it back at Full Gear. I'm talking in the ring, British round, nothing but grapples. Please be safe. But it's going to be a good match, and then they can finally just tie this off with a nice little bow and leave it. Hopefully it's a nice match. It's not going to take the stink off of everything they've done. It's not going to remove everything you think of when you think Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy, but hopefully it's just a match where no one dies, ideally. I think it's going to be good, but I'm worried. They went in the ring, and FTR was there with Tully and Tony, and a big tombola. Remember from the Royal Rumble back in the day? With the tombola, and you go and you get your number? They had that. And Tony said, this is something I will say, I give WWE a lot of shit for lack of logic. And I can't sit here and... No, I think this is going to be great. And I do think what they're doing is good. But internally, the logic of this just makes no sense. They had this tombola in the ring with FTR and Tully and Tony. And Tony went, we're going to pull out 4 names. Look at all these tag teams on the stage. Look at all these people up there. Because all the tag team division pretty much is lined out on the stage. And look at all them. So we're just going to pull names out of this. And next week, the 4 of them will have a number 1 contenders match. Okay, cool. Sound. No real reasoning for all the teams being there. I'm not even entirely sure if all the teams are there. I don't think like Marco and Luchasaurus were there. I don't know if I saw them. I might have. I might just be tripping. But they pulled out Private Party, Butcher and Blade, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, and then Tony went and pulled out the 4th ball and went, Young Bucks. And then the Young Bucks walked to the ring. And they got right up in FTR's face. And FTR were like, you're going to super kick Tony? And they're like, nah, we're not going to super kick him. We're not going to super kick Tully. We're just going to super kick everyone else. And turn around and flattened, I think it was Private Party who were stood behind them. And then a big brawl broke out. The tombola get thrown. Everyone was scrapping. Private Party got KO'd. Everyone just sort of had a nice wee scrap. And I think this match is going to be great. But I just don't entirely, I'm very happy to see the tombola back in wrestling. We need that back. We need Royal Rumble season, someone to walk into Vince's office and be raging that they've picked out number 7 or something. But I'm happy to see, like I say, I'm happy to see that make a return, but I just think logically this is a very flimsy reason to just book a big 4-man. I don't even get this. Why this? I don't know. The segment doesn't justify its existence as much as just saying, look, these 4 are going to wrestle next week. As far as I'm concerned. I had a lot of fun, but looking back on it now, the next day, it's a bit, yeah. Also after this, JR announced that the main event would now be no DQ. And I got excited because I was like, oh, Monty Brown's going to turn up and someone's getting pounced. Someone did get pounced, but we'll get to it. But then at the women's title match, with Shida and Swole, and right at the start of the match, they shook hands to be like, look, we're both good guys. And they just beat the shit out of each other. They just beat the shit out of each other for 10, 15 minutes. Going into the break, Swole was laid out across the apron, facing the floor. Shida came on and kneed her and got right up in the camera and was like, I'm fucking best in the world. And then Swole just came off, shoved her at the cameraman, and that sent us to break. The match was great. They really went at it and gave it everything. Swole hit the sort of spring through cars, one onto the stage, then one in the ring, and then a dirty dancing. But Shida kicked out. So went for another dirty dancing, this time the proper ripcordy one, and just got kneed. And then Shida sort of fired up, couple knees, Falcon Arrows, a Tamashii, or what is it, a Tamashii? I think that's what it's called. Her finish, the big knee, couple big knees, some Falcon Arrows, and Shida is still the AEW Women's World Champion. And then we cut to the outside, and Nyla Rose was just staring a hole, burning a hole in her head with her eyes. And that's going to be another good match. I want to see them they'll probably run it back at the pay-per-view, and that'll be really good. I really did enjoy this match. I thought it was good. Just before the main event, then we got a video package setting up a feud between Shawn Spears and Scorpio Sky, which hopefully, finally, pulls the trigger on the alliance between FTR and Shawn Spears and Tully. Because we need, like, I mentioned it in my 3 ups and downs, the positives and negatives about the first year of Dynamite, and the one thing for me is just sometimes they tend to skirt around partnerships or feuds, and they go, we just want you to know that we're going to do it, but we don't necessarily know when or how. And it's not ones where they have an end goal in mind and they have a vague idea, like with Hangman and Kenny. They just, I think with them, they're like, remember, they're friends of the same guy. Cool, that's enough, we'll work it out. After I said that, it looks like they're finally putting the last bits onto the puzzle, I guess. The last few pieces in the jigsaw of working this out. So maybe Tony can't watch the channel. I'm not saying he does, because he definitely fucking doesn't. But maybe he did. Maybe he saw it and he was like, that guy. So yeah, that's going to be fun. They're definitely going to have an incredible match. I really like them both. Finally, the main event. And before the main event, Eddie Kingston just walked out, flanked by the Lucha Brothers and sat in commentary. And we know it's gonna get spicy. So Archer's music hit, and he just threw a production member, threw a big pane of glass on the entranceway. Got into the ring, was ready for Mox, who came down, like he was shot out of a cannon, and they just went at it, they just scrapped. So yeah, Mox and Archer just scrapped. There was a paradigm shift right at the start for a 2 count. They went to the outside and they just battled and hit each other really hard. There were some tables set up on the outside. There was a paradigm shift through the tables. Archer kicked out, another paradigm shift in the ring, and then he blocked in the Bulldog choke, but Archer managed to get out. They were just... I don't remember many spots because it was all very nasty, brutal fighting, pretty much. Right towards the end, Archer did hit the blackout and he sort of leaned back and lay over Mox for the cover. And then Mox locked him up in the crucifix, rolled him over, and got the win. And this is when it got really spicy. After the match then, Archer just started beating him up. He was like, I should have had that one. And you hear Eddie Kingston over commentary say, go help him. So the Lucha Brothers run down, followed by Eddie Kingston, and they fight off Archer and Jake the Snake. And then Eddie Kingston grabs the mic and he's like, Mox, I respect you, you're the world champion, you're the best here. And Mox is like looking around, he's ready to face. Like, no, don't worry about it, bro. We're here, we saved you. Mox, we're friends. We used to be on all the same shows together. Remember 2009? Shows all the time, best friends. We're really good friends, bro. I'm here for you. You're the champ, you're the best in the world. Come here. Raises his hand eventually, hugs him, but the whole time Mox is looking at everyone and he's like, get the champion's belt, get the world champion's belt. And then it looks like it's all good and done. Spinning backhand, Mox goes down into a sleeper and it goes off there just as he lets go of the sleeper and Mox is KO'd. And as he has him in the sleeper, I forgot to mention, he is screaming, I never tapped. So hopefully we're getting Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley to run it back at Full Gear. I'm very excited. So that was the anniversary of AEW Dynamite. I would say it wasn't the best episode of AEW. I'll give it an 8. Maybe because there wasn't a lot of wrestling and a lot of the story progression was good. But like I said, the tombola doesn't justify its existence outside of it being entertaining, really. Also, just for me, being a wee nitpicking bastard, this is the 53rd. It's been 53 weeks since Dynamite debuted, even though it is technically the 52nd. I don't know. But no, it was a good show. Like I said, I would give it an 8. I do think the Jericho Max stuff was a lot of fun. The main event was great. The TNT title match was great. But I think it also lost at points for me was just not announcing a triple threat for Full Gear. I don't know. But once again, AEW was great this week. And now here at the end, I'll throw this in. I know you probably noticed there was not an Impact review yesterday. That's because Impact Plus is, oh, it's the bane of my existence. That's 2 weeks in a row it's not worked when I have been meaning to record a video discussing Impact. So until that gets fixed, I'm not going to do Impact videos anymore. We're going to talk about Bound for Glory. But I think I'm going to do AEW review on Thursday and just a video discussing wrestling on Friday or Saturday going forward. Still 2 videos a week from now on, just until Impact Plus is sorted, no Impact reviews. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you tomorrow or Saturday, depending on when I can get this next one done and work out what I'm doing. Like, share, subscribe, comment, show to your friends who like wrestling, show to anyone who likes wrestling, even if they're not your friend. Go, you, I don't like you, but watch this guy. He talks about wrestling, and it'll be me. It could be Chris Van Vliet, it could be Simon Miller. They're better than me, but they're not me. So I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll see you next time.